Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is another brilliant tutorial by me, Mr. Cheney. This one is for the Khan Academy Intro to CSS. We've already done HTML, Hypertext Markup Language. CSS is on the way, and this is going to demonstrate the first couple of challenges and videos in the CSS Intro to CSS family. So here we go. Logging into Khan Academy with our Google accounts. I'm just demonstrating this on the screen. This is how you get in. So I'm going in through my student account that I created for our class. Your assignments should show up right away. If they don't, over to the left here, it should show the class that you're in, period 1, 3, or 6, and then your assignment. So I'm going to go to the CSS stuff, which is right here, CSS Basics, and we're going to get started. The challenge that we'll go over today, the two, will be Colorful Creature and Seasonal IDs. So we have, I believe, 2 videos, 1 document, 2 challenges. So here we go. We'll play the video first and then go to the challenge.
We've now learned how to make a pretty complete web page with all sorts of marked up text and images, but it's lacking something: style. My web page here looks the same as the web pages you've been making. Black text, white background, same font, everything laid out from top to bottom. But you've been on the web and you've seen that web pages can look very different from each other. Look around on Khan Academy at all different colors and fonts and sizes. In fact, let's do this now. Pause this talk through and look at a few different websites. What's different about each of them? What do you like or dislike about their style? I'll just wait right here. It's important to see how different web pages can be, because pretty soon you'll figure out how to make your web pages look different, and you want to do that in a way that makes you happy because it represents you, but it also makes other users happy too. Well, to style our web pages, we need to learn a whole new language, CSS. That stands for Cascading Style Sheets, and it's a way of defining styles that will apply to different parts of our web page. We embed CSS inside of HTML, but it isn't actually HTML, so we have to learn a whole new language and try not to confuse HTML with CSS. We'll see how we can use CSS to style all sorts of aspects of our web page, like the fonts, sizes, and layouts, but we'll start with something that's pretty fun: color. How about we change some headings on our web page to a nice grassy green? To start, we need to add a style tag to the head of our page. When the browser sees that, it will think, okay, everything inside here is CSS. I'll use my CSS parser to understand it instead of my HTML parser. Inside here, we'll add a CSS style rule. A style rule has a selector, which tells the browser what part of a web page to style, and declarations, which tell the browser how to style that part. If we want to style all the H2s on our page, we'll type the selector H2. And then we'll do curly braces. Make sure they're curly, not square around. Inside, we'll put our declarations, which have properties and values. So to change the text color, we use the color property. Then we put a colon, and now we need to come up with a value. We need to tell the browser what color we're interested in. Well, we could just write green, and it would understand it because green's a common color. But that's not the green I wanted. I want a grassy green. If I write grassy green, now the browser gets confused and makes the headings black again because it's never heard of grassy green. If we want to be able to specify any color at all, then we need to use something called the RGB spectrum, which maybe you've heard about in art class. You don't need to be an expert in it though, because we have an RGB color picker for you here. To use it, just replace this with RGB parentheses, and a color picker will pop up, and you can move your mouse inside of it and pick a color, and you can see the color update in real time, and when you're happy, click. Now, do you notice how there were 3 numbers that had changed in our RGB parentheses? That's the red, green, and blue components that make up that color. Okay, the neat thing about this CSS selector, H2, that we used is that it selects all of the H2s on the page. So we can change multiple headlines because we want all of those H2s to be green. And it's consistent for all those H2s it finds on the page. If you keep going with CSS, you can learn about many other ways of selecting parts of a page, like if you only wanted one of those H2s, but you can go pretty far with these tag-based selectors. Let's add another CSS style rule, this time to make the background a sky blue. How would we color the background on a page? Well, which tag encompasses the whole page? It's not the H1, not the Ps, not the image. It's the body tag. Remember, everything visible is always inside that body tag. So if we want to style the entire page, we need to use a selector to select that tag. So we'll write body. Now, instead of color, we'll write background color. Colon, and then RGB, parentheses. We get our color picker, and I'll pop it up and pick a blue that makes me think of frolicking bunnies and cumulus clouds. Ta-da! Look at my stylish page. There are hundreds more CSS properties besides color and background color, but those ones are fun to get started with. In fact, after I'm done talking, play around with the colors I picked and customize this page to be more your style than mine. Okay? Go!
Okay, so she actually showed us how to do cascading style sheets, which is going to help us do color for text, for background, for moving things around and that sort of thing. So the main word that we want to remember is style. So now here's where the tricky part is. We're not going to do this project holiday card. I didn't assign that, I believe. If I did, I'll take it off. What you want to do is actually click your name and go back to Learner Home and go to your assignments, and what we're going to go to next is the quick tip selecting by tag name. So this is just kind of a review for you, and I'll go through it on this video so that you can go through it as well on your own. So I'm just going to read through. As you just learned, we use CSS rules to select elements on a web page so that we can then style those elements. The way we tell our CSS rule which HTML elements to style is by using selectors. There are many types of selectors that we'll cover later, but here we just want to review the one we showed in the talk through, the element selector. The element selector selects HTML elements based on their tag names. So each HTML element, a heading tag, a paragraph tag, a list tag, a body tag, and any other HTML element can be selected by a CSS by using the tag name without the angle brackets. For example, you can select all of the P tags, the paragraph tags, in your web page by using the element selector P. Here's a CSS rule that changes the color of each paragraph on a web page. So P for paragraph, curly bracket, color, they use the RGB codes. Hey, we went over RGB codes in our class, in our multimedia class. That's crazy. We did color theory. You guys are already a step ahead. Let's check if that made sense. Which of these rules would select all of the H2 elements on a page? So would it be H2, curly bracket, color, RGB? Oh, that looks pretty good. Or is it hashtag H2? Or is it angle bracket H2? I think it's this one. And we're going to check the answer, and we are correct. So just to summarize, you can do a cascading style sheet, CSS, on any HTML tag. You just take the angle brackets away to reference it, and you use the curly brackets to actually do your commands. Okay, so next assignment takes us to a couple questions that we can answer, which I will check. CSS, how would you select only the list items with class name important? Let's check. Incorrect. Get help. What happened? To select all elements with a particular class in a page, the CSS selector should be quotation marks followed by the class name. Oh, so it says that if you want just the word important, you want the dot in front. Aha, okay. In CSS, how would you select this heading by its ID? So H1 ID equals title. Okay. Then would you do the title, or would you do the hashtag title? Yes. The following table lists selectors in the left column and HTML tags in the right column. Match the selectors to the HTML tags so they would match. So let's see, dot info must be okay, so I'm going to allow you to go through that little quiz on your own so that you just don't copy my answers. I want you to be able to go through and know what the tags are. So moving on, going back to the assignments, we're going to go to our first challenge, which is colorful creature. And so we'll select that, and here's our challenge. Let's have you make a web page about an awesome animal and color the web page to look like it. Get my picture out of the way here. For the first step, use the image picker to add an image to the page that shows the animal and then fill in the paragraph with information about it. Okay, so they've already given us the H1 tag, and they've given us a part of the paragraph here that says the blank is awesome because, and now it's telling us use the image picker to add an image to the page that shows the animal and then fill in the paragraph for information. So under the coolest creature, if I want an image, my hint section over here tells me that I want to start with that, so I'm going to do angle bracket, image source equals quotation marks. It's going to let me pick a file. Let's pick, I sure wish it would let us use other images because theirs are limited. These are photos. Oh, there we go. Okay, so let's go with a fox. Okay, so I'm going to go with the fox, and I'm going to fill in a paragraph about the information. I gotta do my closed image tag, otherwise it will freak out. And if I wanted to make that smaller, remember I can do the width. Width equals, let's go with 400. That's better. That way it's not taking up the whole page. So there's my fox, and then my paragraph. The fox is awesome because, and they've got emphasis tags in there. I guess they want me to do some emphasis for some reason, but the fox is awesome because it is a great hunter and is fast and agile. Okay. So I've got that, and it says, can you use the strong and emphasis tags to describe what the animal is and why it's awesome? So I'm going to use great hunter for my emphasis. So let's do this. I can highlight, Control X to cut. I'm going to paste it over here, Control V. Instead of typing, so I can do that if you want, or you can just erase them and go back. So I'm going to put great hunter as an emphasis, like that. And I'm going to put, for strong, I'm going to put fast. So I'm going to do Control X before fast, and then the close tag for strong. Control X to cut, and then over here. And so now I've got what I want. So I've got great hunter as an emphasis and fast as a strong or bolded tag. So I can click my next step. And now it's saying, now we want to add some CSS, but there's no style tag in this page yet. Add one inside the heading tags just below your title tag. So here's the title tag, and I can put in my style tag. So our creature guy is happy that we've done that part correctly, so the hint section right here will show you that. And we're going to go on to the next step. It says now add a CSS rule to change the background of the whole page inspired by the creator's or the creature's colors. So I might go with like an orange-ish brown background. And so in order to do that, I'm going to put body. Inside the style tags, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put body. I'm going to put the curly bracket. Gotta hold shift key to do the curly bracket, and I'm going to do color, RGB. So you gotta type the word color, colon, and then put RGB and then parentheses, and it's going to give you the color picker. Or you can put your own RGB colors in that you want. So remember, and I'll put this on the assignment, when we did our color wheel, I gave you a couple websites, and if you like any one of these colors and you want to know the RGB code, you could do that. So if I wanted to, maybe I could go with this alloy orange and RGB code 1969816. So I could go back over here, I could do 198, forgot the rest, 1989816, 98 colon 16, and I'll get the exact color that I want. And I'm missing the other bracket. Okay, so that did the text, but what I forgot to do is I have to put in that I want the background color, because if I use just the word color, then it's going to do the text. So now that I put in the right word for background color, that's doing the whole background. And then I've got colon RGB, and I did my own RGB color, and you've got your closed curly bracket. I think it wants the... There we go. So that did that. So I can go on to my next step. And now it's saying, now add a CSS rule to change the color of the paragraph inspired by the creature's color. So it wants to change the color of this sentence that we did. So we can go here inside of style still. And I'm going to go P, angle bracket, color, and I want to do RGB, this, and I think I'm just going to pick one from their color picker so I can show you what that looks like. And let's go with, gosh, I don't want to use another orange, so maybe white because of the snow. Can I get white on here? Or maybe, no, let's just do something fun like aquamarine that makes no sense at all. And then, oh, it didn't do what I wanted it to do. Okay, and I can do my closed curly bracket, and now my paragraph has changed colors to that kind of greenish color. So now I can go to my next step, and now it says finally add a CSS rule to change the color of the heading inspired by the creature's colors. So the coolest creature right here, I'm just going to pick another color. So I'm going to put H1, curly bracket, color, colon, RGB, parentheses, and maybe I'll go back to my website with the RGB colors and find one that I like. So maybe this Amazon green. No, let's go with Air Force blue. Let's go with Air Force blue. So 048 143. 048 143 for my RGB color, and we'll just put that in there, and I do my angle bracket to close it up, and we've got the color for that. Okay, so we've done 3 things with our colorful creature. We've done the body color, which is background dash color, and we've used our RGB codes. You can use their selector or use the website that we used for Color Wheel. We did a paragraph selector, and we did a heading 1 text selector, and that was all. We had to create a style section just before the body section, so it has to be within the head section actually. So here's the start of the heading section. We've got these things that are already there. You add the style section, and now we're doing the styling within the HTML using HTML tags. So I will finish this challenge, and I'm going to do a spin-off. Now this is where some of us were making a mistake as far as saving, so you got to click this spin-off, and you can even keep the word spin-off this time. And let's just put our names, first name and last initial, so that I have your name on there. You'll press save, and this document will come up, and you want to click share and highlight this whole deal here, and then you'll go turn in that link. So this is part 1 of part 2. I think I'm going to break it up into 2 just because this went a little long. So that's it for the first challenge. Look for part 2, the second challenge, which is seasonal IDs.